And welcome to this video on the sample paper 4, level 1, which we did a few days ago. Let's have a look at some of the questions. So the first question was a percentage question. What is 10%? So how many more tickets do you expect to sell this year? So you expect to sell 350 tickets last year and you expect to sell an extra 10%. So we've got to work out 10% first. To work out a percentage, we divide by 100 and we times by the percentage, which gives us 35. Let me put it down there in the answer box. Now, some people can use a fraction here. 10% is also known as 1/10, 1 over 10. So you could have taken the 350 and divided by 10 to find 1/10, and you would have got 35. Next question, what's the total number of tickets you expect to sell this year? Well, you sold 350 last year. You expect to sell an extra 35. So that gives me 385 tickets. Next question. The club will raffle tickets, £2.50 each. If you see the word each, you're thinking multiply straight away. Also, the word total means to add up. So I'm thinking either add up lots of times or multiply. Multiply is a quicker way of doing it. So we take the tickets we sold, or 385 we expect to sell, and we multiply by £2.50. Using a calculator, we should get £962.50, I think. Next question. The club wants to spend 1/4 of the money from the tickets, that's that money there, on prizes. What's the maximum amount they can spend? So we need to take the 962.50 and we need to divide it by 4. I'm going to get a calculator for that. So 962.5 and we're going to divide it by 1/4, which means divide by 4. Divide by 4. And you get that as an answer. So a half means divide by 2, a third means divide by 3, a quarter means divide by 4. We always divide by the bottom part of the fraction. So from here we'll get £240 and well our money stops there, so it's either 62 or 63p. I'm going to go for 63p as it's 5 or above. Let me round up. So that's our answer there. Next question was picking prizes, 1 expensive and 4 cheaper. So there's 1 expensive and 4 cheaper. So you can pick anything, it doesn't say what to pick. And then all we do is we add up the prizes 110, food hamper 38, 33, 30, 15, and we add those up. 8 and 3 is 11, 5, 16, carry 1, 2, 5, 8, 11, 12, down to 2, carry 1, 2, 2, 6, and you can use a calculator in the exam. Yeah, that's that question done. Next says check one of your answers using a reverse from 1A, 1B, 1C, or 1D. Well, I'm going to take the answer from 1B, which was 385 times £2.50, and we got £962.50 as an answer. I'm going to use a reverse check. I'm going to start with the answer. I'm going to work my way in. The first item I come to is a multiply, and instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide by £2.50, and I should get back to where I began with. That's how we do a reverse calculation. Or it did say approximation. We could use an approximation. 3, which means rounding. 385 is very close to 400. £2.50 is close to 3. There we go. We'll multiply those together and get £1,200 as an approximation. So you can use either method. Next question says draw a table. If you ask to draw a table, all they're looking for is something with rows and columns. I'm going to keep it quite simple. Put in your labels. And where are they? They are here. Now you can shorten them as much as you like. Money, prizes. I'm just going to stop there. I got the general gist of it. Tickets were 385. Money's 962.50. The prizes were £226, I think. Let me just put that information and the last one, whatever it is, in as well. And that's 8%, folks. So quite an important mark for doing something so simple as drawing a simple table. Now somebody's drew bar charts there, but it did say a table, didn't say a chart. Now we move on to the scale drawing question, probably the most difficult question in this exam. So we have to work out what measurements we're going to use on a scale paper. This is our scale here. That's the size of the thing in the real world. And we're going to scale it down using a scale here. So what we know 4 centimeters equals 1 meter. Well, which is also known as 100 centimeters. Well, if I half that, I get 2 centimeters. And if I half this, I get a half, 0.5, or 50 centimeters. If I half this again, I get 1 centimeter. I get 0.25 here. Half of 50 is 25 centimeters. With that information, I should be able to answer this question. So it was 3.5 meters. Well, if 1 meter equals 4, which we've said, uh, 2 meters must equal 8, and 3 meters must equal 12. Half a meter, which we are looking, 3.5 meters. That's a half a meter there, which is 2 centimeters. We'll add that on, and we get 14 centimeters. The 2.75, well, 1 meter equals 4. Another meter equals another 4. Half a meter uh, is 0.5, it gives you 2. And 0.5 and 0.25 equals 0.75. So I'm going to add on another centimeter to represent the 0.25. 4, 8, 10, 11. That's going to give me 11. That's the size I want to draw. So I'm going to draw 14 by 11. If I can fit it into the screen, let's see. Well, 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 11 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh dear. 11. So make sure to use a ruler in the exam, obviously. I'm just scooting across here and drawing that down. Oh, use a ruler, like I say. So what it asks me next to do is to work out how many units I have. Well, it tells me I've got 3.5 meters of space. So from there to there, 3.5 meters. It also says I need to leave an 80 centimeter gap, and I've got these cupboards to put in, and that's their sizes there, and they're in millimeters. So I've got 3 different metric measures happening here. I need to have one that they have in common, and I'm going to go for centimeters. I'm going to change that to centimeters by multiplying by 100. That gives me 350 centimeters. And that's already centimeters. I'm going to change this. All I'm interested in is the width. How many fit in along the wall? So I don't need the height at the minute. I just need to worry about the width. Okay, because it tells me the wall is 3.5 meters wide. So I'm going to change the millimeters to centimeters as well by dividing by 10, which gives me 50. Right. So I'm going to see how many fit in. Well, I know that I've got a freezer here at one end of the wall, right, and it's 80 centimeters. So I can't use that space. So I'm going to take it away because it's not being used, and I get 270. Next, each cabinet is 50 centimeters. So how many 50s in 270? Well, you could go 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300. Well, you're bust. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cabinets. Or you could go 270 divided by 50. How many times it goes in? I think it's 5.4. Well, again, you can't have 5.4. You can't have 6 as it won't fit. So the answer is going to be 5. Next, we've got to draw the base units onto the scale diagram. Well, we need to know their size. Well, they're 50, and I need to know their height. I don't need to know the width because it's not a three-dimensional shape. It's a 2D shape that we're drawing in. But I need to know the height, so I'm going to divide that by 10 to get it to centimeters. We get 100. So it's 50 centimeters by 100. And the fridge, I've got to leave the fridge. And it says I must leave at least 80. I could be slightly more. Well, I'm going to make it a bit easier for myself. Well, that's 25, as we know from our previous questions. Every square is worth 25. 25, 25 is 50, 75, 100. So that's 25, that's 50. So it's 50 centimeters wide. That's 75, and it's just slightly over for 80, but I'm just going to make it about here. Didn't say what size it needs to be this way. So next it says at least 80. Well, 100 25, 50, 75, 100 is more than 80, so we're okay. Next, we're going to put on the width. The width was 50 centimeters, so 25, 25 is 50. The height was 100, 25, 50, 75, 100. So we draw a line up, we draw it down. And then we repeat because the cabinets are the same size. We throw them in. There you go. And that's them drawn in. And we got 5 cabinets. Next, it says I've got to put the base or the wall units, so that's the second ones, and there's got to be a 50 centimeter gap between them and the wall units. So I've got to put a 50 centimeter gap between units I'm going to draw up here and these ones. Well, that's 25, that's 50, so I'm going to start there, put a little X. Now we know they're 50 centimeters wide, the same as the ones we've just worked out. There you go, same. This here is slightly different, slightly smaller. So again, we're going to divide it by 10 to get it to centimeters, and we get 75. Well, 25, 50, 75. And we draw them in like so, and we just follow the pattern across. Obviously use a ruler. So again, a big thing to do with these questions is to try to work out what one of these squares is worth. Well, if 1 meter is worth 100 centimeters, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 100 divided by 4 gives you 25, and every square is then worth 25 centimeters, which makes life a bit easier. So next, I've said the perimeter. The perimeter is the distance round the outside of a shape, and it's the door. So I'm looking this side and this side, and this side and this side. So it's 500 at the bottom, must be 500 here as well. 750 on the right hand side, and it must be 750 on the left hand side. We add them up, and we get 2,500 millimeters. Doesn't say change them, so we leave them alone. Next, we have a probability question here. We've got a call center. These are the times. We want to work out the chance that somebody will have their call answered in 4 minutes or less. We've got to work out the people that's 4 minutes or less. Well, that's less, that's 4 minutes or less. So anything 4 or under, really. So we just tick them off. Do this in the exam to make sure they know that you know what you're talking about. Do that, and we then work it out. There's 15 of them here. So there's 15 calls, 4 minutes or less, and there was 30 calls in total. And we write probability like a fraction. And half of 30 is 15, so it must be a 50-50 chance. Explanation, what you would say is there's an equal chance that a call will be answered in 4 minutes or less, as there is a call will be answered in 4 minutes or more. What's the average call waiting time? The average call waiting time involves adding everything up and dividing by how many. So we add all of these up. I think it's 138. You don't have to show it all being added up, but it's good to show this bit in case you go wrong. And we're going to divide it by 30. And our answer is going to be 4.6. So the mean waiting time is 4.6. Important to know the mean. Add them up and divide by how many. The range is the biggest, subtract the smallest. I think the biggest was 10, the smallest was 2. So the range is 8. Again, make sure you know that for the exam. Range. Range tells you how consistent or inconsistent something is. The higher the range, the more inconsistent. So is 8 a high number? Well, it is. The biggest is 10. The smallest has to be 0. 8 is very close to the biggest number. So you would say the calls were inconsistent. The wait times. You don't know if they're going to be short or long wait time. Then it says draw a bar chart based on this data. Numbers go up the side. These are categories on top. So we need to draw it first. We've got funny numbers, so we put 4.6 in there. So 4.6 is the biggest number. We're going to start at naught. We've got points. So usually we're cutting up whole numbers, 1, 2, 3, etc. But I'm going to break it down. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, 1. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 2. Just build it up like that. Lovely. So we're leaving 2 spaces. 3, 4, 5. And make sure your numbers are on the line. So the first one was 3.7. Well, there's 3, there's 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. I'm going to give it 2 squares. I'm going to call it 9 to 10. The next one was 4.3. So there's 4.3. I'm going to leave a little gap. I'm going to draw in 2 squares again. Oh dear. And that's 10 to 11. And I will just continue the whole way across. I need to put labels on to get the extra marks. So the mean call time, the mean, what was that? Oh dear. Time of day is here somewhere. There we go. Time of day. Oh dear, the writing's terrible with this pen. And up here you put the mean call time. I'm not going to be able to turn that around, but the mean call time up the side. You find your information on the table. Did the help desk meet the target wait times? No, the wait time target was 4 minutes. It tells us in the previous question. And your answer was average wait time is 4.6, which is over 4. So it didn't meet it, and that's your reason. Sharing a ratio question. Here we've got a supervisor call, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 admin calls. So how many calls have you got in total? You've got, or how many parts? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So you're splitting the number of calls you had, which was 300, into 6 parts. There's 6 different types, and you get 50. So each part is worth 50. We're interested in this part. So there's only one of them. So that's one set of 50. If they had asked for the admin, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 550s is 250, but they only asked for the one part. Listen, thanks for watching this video. I hope it helps you get your test in May. Uh, I will see you next class.